Martell Holt. If you thought his drama had reached its peak, think again. Just when fans believe the chaos has calmed down, a new bombshell emerges, and this time, it's about Arionne Curry. Yes, the same Arionne who was famously involved as the side chick during Martell's marriage to Melody Cherie. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the Love and Marriage Huntsville fanbase, and it's stirring conversations that aren't likely to die down anytime soon. Before you roll your eyes and mutter, "Here we go again with Martell Holt," stick around, because the story unfolding right now is both messy and fascinating in equal measure. It's a tale of betrayal, manipulation, and reality TV drama that could have easily become one of the most controversial moments in the show's history. According to insiders, Martell allegedly approached the network proposing that Arionne be added to the show as a main cast member. But here's the twist: the network rejected the proposal. Yes, rejected. And the fan reactions? Well, they tell a story of frustration, disbelief, and outrage. People are weighing in on social media, expressing how shocking it would have been to see Arionne enter the show after everything that's happened with Martell and Melody. And honestly, the situation raises an important question. Is Martell genuinely interested in Arionne, or is this simply another calculated move to remain the center of attention, no matter the cost? To understand why this matters so much, let's take a step back. Martell Holt has always been a polarizing figure on Love and Marriage Huntsville. From the beginning, his marriage to Melody Cherie captured viewers' attention, not because of romance or happiness, but due to betrayal, infidelity, and the very public fallout from it. When Arionne Curry entered the scene, the drama escalated dramatically. Fans watched in disbelief as Martell made choices that revealed just how far he was willing to go outside of his marriage. It was messy, it was public, and it left viewers questioning his motives and integrity. By the time Melody filed for divorce, many hoped that perhaps Martell had learned a lesson, maybe realized the consequences of his actions, and would work toward repairing his reputation. But instead, he continued to make decisions that kept him at the center of controversy, proving once again that chaos seems to follow him wherever he goes. And now, with this latest report about him attempting to bring Arionne onto the show, we're left with more questions than answers. Is this an attempt to stir up more drama? Or is this a desperate play to remain relevant in the ever-competitive world of reality television? What makes this situation even more explosive is the history between these three individuals. Arionne played a pivotal role in the breakdown of Martell and Melody's marriage. She's been openly critical of Melody at times, and has not taken accountability for her part in the affair. The thought of her being rewarded with a spot on the show, potentially as a main cast member, has fans outraged. The consensus among viewers seems clear. This would have been a major misstep, not just for the network, but for Martell himself. Imagine the level of disrespect this would represent toward Melody. She worked tirelessly to rebuild her life after the end of her marriage, and the idea of Arionne stepping in to profit from the very drama that harmed her is unthinkable to many fans. This is why the network's decision to reject Martell's proposal has been applauded widely. By refusing to allow Arionne to join the show, the network preserved what credibility the show still has, and sent a message that not all drama is acceptable, no matter how compelling it might be for ratings. Adding another layer to this complex story is Melody's own perspective. She's been open about why she stepped back from filming, and some of her revelations have been shocking. For instance, she claimed that Martell had physically put his hands on her, but this footage was never aired. Instead, the network highlighted a scene in which Melody threw a glass at Martell, portraying her as the aggressor. Can you imagine living through such trauma only to have the narrative spun against you for public consumption? It's no wonder she has no interest in whether Arionne joins the cast. Melody has made it clear that she is done with the show's manipulative storytelling and no longer seeks validation from an audience that failed to value her truth. Now here's where the plot thickens. Some fans speculate that Melody may have included a clause in her exit deal specifically preventing Arionne from joining the show. It makes sense when you think about it. If Melody wanted to protect her peace and ensure she was no longer confronted with the woman who contributed to the end of her marriage, why wouldn't she? This could explain why Martell continues to push for Arionne's inclusion, but the network consistently blocks it. Once again, Melody demonstrates foresight and strategic thinking even after stepping away from the camera.
However, this isn't just about Arionne. It's also about Martell himself. Many fans have started questioning why he remains on the show at all. After everything that has happened, from the public exposure of his infidelity to the chaos he continues to create, viewers are left wondering why the network hasn't taken stronger action. Some even joked on social media that he should have been arrested on camera by now, given the sheer volume of accusations and drama he's been involved in. And yet, Martell remains a fixture, allowed to stir controversy while simultaneously being blocked from introducing new drama with Arionne. This double standard has become a hot topic among fans, fueling debates about the fairness and ethics of reality TV production. The situation also raises questions about Arionne herself. Despite the drama surrounding her, she continues to stick around Martell. Some fans have labeled her a pick-me, suggesting that she is content to accept attention and minor boosts in visibility from Martell without securing any real commitment or priority from him. From this perspective, Martell's actions are less about genuine affection and more about leveraging relationships for his own benefit. And as long as Arionne remains willing to be part of that dynamic, the cycle of drama is destined to continue. The fallout from this scenario is far-reaching. It's not just about Martell, Arionne, and Melody. It's about the integrity of the show itself. Fans have been vocal about how these kinds of decisions impact credibility. The idea of rewarding someone like Arionne with a main role after her involvement in such a contentious situation would be seen as a betrayal to viewers who invested emotionally in Melody's story. By rejecting Martell's proposal, the network avoided what could have been one of the biggest missteps in reality TV history and a moment that would have likely drawn significant backlash. Martell Holt has built his brand around chaos, and with this latest attempt to involve Arionne, he's proving yet again that he doesn't shy away from controversy, even if it means hurting others in the process. The thought of Arionne joining the main cast feels like adding insult to injury for viewers who watched Melody endure betrayal, humiliation, and heartbreak. Even if Melody herself has moved on and no longer cares about the show's internal politics, the fanbase clearly does, and they've made it known that this move would have been unacceptable. And let's not forget the emotional toll on Melody. Fans remember how she openly discussed her struggles and the abuse she faced at Martell's hands. Being portrayed as the aggressor while the real incidents were minimized or omitted entirely was a deeply hurtful experience. Her decision to step away from filming wasn't just about personal well-being. It was about reclaiming her narrative and protecting her mental health. The idea of Arionne stepping into that space as a main character would be a direct affront to all of that effort, which is why so many viewers are grateful the network put a stop to it.
However, now before you roll your eyes and think, here we go again with Martell, it's worth breaking this down. Because the way this entire situation unfolded says a lot, not just about Martell, but about the blurred lines between entertainment, accountability, and exploitation in modern reality television. According to reports, the network flat out rejected Martell's proposal to include Arionne, and honestly, that rejection might have saved the show from a complete meltdown. Viewers are calling it one of the smartest decisions the producers have made in a long time, because had they approved this move, it could have been one of the biggest disasters in reality TV history, one that crossed every line between storytelling and cruelty. From the very beginning, Martell Holt has been one of the most polarizing figures on Love and Marriage Huntsville. His marriage to Melody Shari was supposed to be a cornerstone of the show, a picture of ambition, partnership, and Black excellence. But what it became instead was a cautionary tale about betrayal, infidelity, and ego. The moment Arionne Curry entered the picture, everything changed. Fans watched in disbelief as Martell's personal choices unraveled his marriage, his reputation, and the family image he once worked so hard to present. When Melody eventually filed for divorce, viewers thought it might be Martell's wake-up call, a chance for reflection, maybe even growth. But if this new situation is any indication, it seems like Martell isn't interested in peace or redemption. He thrives in the eye of the storm. He's drawn to chaos like a moth to flame. And this latest attempt to insert Arionne into the storyline feels like a deliberate move to stir the pot all over again. The very idea of Arionne joining the show struck a nerve with fans. For years, she's been a controversial figure hovering in the background, speaking indirectly about Melody, posting cryptic comments online, and fueling speculation about her role in Martell's life. For many viewers, Arionne represents everything Melody had to fight through: deceit, humiliation, and disrespect. The thought of her suddenly being rewarded with a reality TV platform, standing alongside the same women whose lives she once disrupted, felt like a slap in the face, not just to Melody, but to every viewer who empathized with her journey. Fans immediately took to social media to voice their outrage, saying they would boycott the show if Arionne ever appeared. They accused Martell of being tone-deaf, manipulative, and obsessed with using the women in his life for publicity rather than genuine connection. And honestly, they have a point. Martell's reputation for manufacturing drama is nothing new. It's almost like he knows controversy keeps him relevant. Every season, every storyline, he finds a way to keep his name in the mix, even if it means dragging others through emotional turmoil. But the move to involve Arionne was a new low even for him. She wasn't just another cast member, she was the embodiment of the pain Melody endured. Bringing her on would have erased all sense of accountability and turned real trauma into cheap entertainment. That's why fans applauded the network's rejection. They saw it as the producers finally drawing a line, saying this far and no further. Now, let's talk about Arionne's side of this. Reports suggest that when Melody stepped away from filming temporarily, Arionne seemed excited. She allegedly made shady comments online, almost celebrating Melody's absence, as if it opened a door for her to finally step in. That kind of behavior didn't go unnoticed. Fans described Arionne as being obsessed with Melody's every move, always watching, always commenting, waiting for her chance to replace her. She's been labeled a monitoring spirit, someone who thrives on proximity to the woman she once undermined. But the truth is, just because someone is waiting by the door doesn't mean they deserve to walk through it. And clearly, the network agreed. For the second time, they told Martell no. But let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about Arionne, it's about Martell himself. Viewers are asking the same question over and over again. Why is Martell still on the show? Over the years, he's disrespected women, caused fights, spread rumors, and turned nearly every situation into chaos. Yet somehow he's still there, collecting a paycheck and stirring up drama. Many fans believe it's a double standard. They say the network protects him while punishing the women who stand up to him. It's an uncomfortable truth about reality TV. Sometimes the villain gets the spotlight because villains keep people watching. But this situation might be finally showing that even chaos has its limits. Meanwhile, Melody's journey tells a completely different story. After leaving Martell, she rebuilt herself from the ground up, not just as a woman, but as a brand. She's launched businesses, raised her children, and tried to maintain peace despite constant provocation. Melody has been transparent about her reasons for stepping away from the show. In one emotional moment, she revealed that Martell had allegedly put his hands on her, a claim that shocked fans. But instead of airing that footage, the show reportedly chose to highlight her throwing a glass, painting her as aggressive while minimizing the context. Imagine experiencing that kind of pain and then seeing the world frame you as the problem. It's no wonder Melody decided to distance herself from it all. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Some fans believe that when Melody negotiated her exit from the show, she included a clause preventing Arionne from ever being cast. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. Why would she leave without making sure her peace was protected? That theory would explain why every time Martell tries to push for Arionne's inclusion, it gets shot down. If that's true, then Melody once again proves that she's always 2 steps ahead, thinking strategically, protecting her boundaries, and refusing to let her pain be turned into a storyline for someone else's fame. And let's be real for a second. For all Martell's talk about how much he loves Arionne, his actions tell a different story. After all these years, he still hasn't put a ring on her finger. He hasn't moved her into his home. He hasn't made her a true priority. Their relationship exists in this gray area, public enough to cause chaos, but private enough for him to avoid real commitment. Fans see it clearly. Martell doesn't love Arionne.
He uses her. She's his favorite prop when he needs attention, his go-to storyline when things get slow. And Arionne, for whatever reason, keeps allowing herself to play that role. Maybe it's the attention, maybe it's the proximity to fame, but
Either way, it's clear that she's not gaining much from this except ridicule and heartache. Beyond the personal drama, the network's decision to reject Martell's proposal speaks volumes about where reality TV might be headed. Producers know that drama sells, but even they understand that there's a point where it stops being entertaining and starts being cruel. Bringing Arionne onto Love and Marriage Huntsville would have sent the wrong message entirely, that pain can be monetized, that betrayal gets rewarded, and that boundaries don't matter. Instead, the network chose integrity over shock value, and for many fans, that was refreshing. It proved that even in a genre built on conflict, there's still space for empathy, respect, and ethical decision-making. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of Martell's antics continue to impact everyone around him. Marcel and Letitia Scott, Maurice and Kimmy, even Destiny Payton, they've all had to navigate the fallout of his behavior. These cast members signed up to tell their own stories, but Martell's chaos has a way of bleeding into everything. Marcel once hinted that Martell seems determined to disrupt other people's marriages, almost like he doesn't want anyone else to have what he lost. Kimmy, often the calm and reasonable one, has had to mediate countless conflicts caused by him. The exhaustion is real, and the group dynamic has suffered. And then there's Martell's public image, the carefully curated version of himself he presents in interviews and appearances. Every time he's on camera, he flashes that same confident smile, acting unbothered by the backlash. But fans notice the subtle details, like the matching Cuban link bracelet he wore, the same style Arionne once flaunted on social media. To viewers, these small choices aren't coincidences. They're quiet messages, deliberate signals meant to keep the speculation alive. Martell knows how to play the media game. He understands that as long as people are talking about him, whether they love him or hate him, he stays relevant. But here's the thing. Relevance without respect doesn't last forever. The public is growing weary of the same cycle. Lies, apologies, chaos, repeat. Reality TV thrives on conflict, but even the audience has limits. People are craving growth, accountability, and genuine transformation. And at this point, Martell seems stuck in place, replaying the same mistakes in new packaging. In the end, the Martell Holt and Arionne Curry saga isn't just a headline, it's a mirror reflecting everything messy about reality television. It's about how personal pain becomes public entertainment, how networks walk the line between storytelling and exploitation, and how viewers themselves play a role by tuning in. The rejection of Arionne's casting wasn't just a production decision, it was a statement. It told the audience that there are still boundaries worth keeping, even in a world built on scandal. For Melody, it was vindication, proof that her voice, her resilience, and her story still matter. For Martell, it was a reminder that you can only play the villain for so long before the audience stops rooting for you entirely. Ultimately, this story is about power, control, and perception in the world of reality television. Martell wants to remain relevant, Arionne wants attention, and Melody wants peace. The network's role in all of this is to maintain some semblance of credibility and fairness, and rejecting Martell's proposal was a step in the right direction. It's a reminder that, despite all the drama and chaos, there are boundaries, even in reality TV, and sometimes the right decision is to say no, even if it could make for a more exciting storyline. So, what's next for Martell Holt? Will he continue trying to manipulate the show to suit his desires? Or will he finally face the consequences of his past actions? One thing is certain,
the story isn't over. And for fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville, this ongoing drama will keep us glued to our screens, speculating, reacting, and discussing every twist and turn. If you want to see how the rest of the cast is reacting to Martell's antics and why this could be one of the biggest mistakes of his career, stay tuned. The drama continues, and we'll be here to break it down for you piece by piece.